Good evening, everybody, and welcome to BBL Supercoach Central podcast for this week, episode number 4 of the pre-season. Tonight we'll be going over a couple of the teams in the Sixers and the Scorchers, discussing all the relevant news and all the latest happenings, and of course crying over the fact that Australia just looked like crap when they played that first test match. How are we going there tonight, Rossco? Oh, Rossco, hey, have I got
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, did you survive the first test match?
Oh, mate, how the hell does the pitch change so much in one day? How can you go from doing that, what happened that first day, to what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange one. Yeah, it's a strange one, that one, isn't it? It's very confusing as to how that they performed so well to start out with, and then in the end, the test match just denigrated into one calamity after another. And the poor old
I think they had some rain. I think they had some rain prior to the test. But even then, I just still don't understand how it can change so much in one day. And our batters, it's a concern with our batting at the moment. Marnus is not making runs. Smudge is not making runs. But there's no one knocking on the door to replace them. So we just got to run with them.
Yeah, it's tough. And so you say that about the opener as well. Do you think McSweeney keeps his spot? You there, Rossco?
I think his laptop's struggling
with him. Yep, I'm here.
I think your laptop's given up in the heat. We're all struggling, of course, with the heat on the coast here. I don't know how.
I think they've got to run with him, Brad, for the series at least. Anyway, you can't just pick a bloke and drop him after a couple of games. I did see today that Bo Webster's come into the squad for the second test, but apparently that's just back up for Mitch Marsh because Mitch Marsh is carrying a bit of an injury, so he's just come into the squad as backup just in case he doesn't pull through.
No, we're losing him again.
And this isn't available to play, but Andrew McDonald's already pretty much come out and said, barring injuries, that
you pull it.
Yeah, I think the heat's flying up there with Roscoe's connection, so we might throw over to Timmy for a minute. Tim, how you been doing up there?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. It's weather's fantastic today, and yesterday was pretty good. But outside of that, we've had rain on and off for about a week and a half or something. And yeah, it's nice to get the rain. Everything's looking nice and green, and obviously going into the hot part of the year. And we do like a bushfire up here. So look, it's great to. I shouldn't say we like it. Nobody actually likes a bushfire, but yeah, look, it's probably good for us going into the stinking hot summer that we're absolutely going to get. So everything will be dampened down and. Hopefully it all comes good. But, yeah, look, the weather's been nice. It's not too hot, not too cold. And I'm working in a stinking hot shed all day long at the moment. But, is what it is.
All right. Roscoe's trying to fix his connection there, so it's just you and me for a minute, I think.
Not a problem at all, mate.
Big news from up north, of course, is Ben Hunt. It looks like he's signed with the Brisbane Broncos. How they taking the news up there that you're going to have two absolute geriatrics running around in the halves and a bloke who can't play because he's probably going to be rubbed out of the game at least for the first 6 weeks of the comp. So what's the
go? Mate, what's the go with the Brisbane Broncos? Yeah, look, mate, for anyone who's listened into our Off the Bench NRL podcast all season, the minute Ben Hunt said that he wanted out of the Dragons, I've been calling it all year that he's coming home. Look, I had no doubt it's where he wanted to finish his career. He wanted to come back to Queensland, and it was on the cards. He's got unfinished business there from the 2015 grand final, and I'm sure I'm going to cop plenty of grief from some of our regular listeners. Joey will be not too far off, I'm sure. But yeah, look, it's I'm all for it. I think he's got the versatility. He's an old head. He's been around football a lot for a long period of time. He's played for the Kangaroos. He's playing for Queensland. He's without DCE, look, he's probably, I don't know, he would probably be one of our next senior leaders, I'd imagine. So, look, he is definitely getting to the end of his career. He's already 34, going on 35, I believe. But yeah, look, it's as long as Reynolds is fit, I can't see why they both can't play. And then if Reynolds isn't fit, I'm sure they'll come up with Plan B. Look, we've got young Black coming through as well, so I'd imagine between those two guys coming out from underneath Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt, look, you probably can't wish for two better blokes to put you through your apprenticeship, I'd imagine. So, look, I'm sure Kobe Black, when the time comes, he'll be ready to step in, and he's probably hoping it sooner rather than later. I don't think it's a case of they've wiped him out and bringing somebody else in because he's not good enough. I think it's just an extra old head that's played the game for a long period of time in that position. And look, let's be honest, two heads are better than one.
Yeah, especially if you're from Queensland.
I just threw it out there. Just threw it out.
It's cricket season and we're still doing two-headed jokes for Queenslanders.
Are you finished yet? You got your hamster running on the inside of that bloody laptop, or what's going on?
I don't know, mate. I got no idea what the hell's. I don't know what's going on, mate. Oh God, must be the heat got to the laptop. I don't know. It's just shit itself.
All right, let's not start putting the shit on the heat.
Let's see if we can make through the rest of the podcast without cutting out again.
I'm sounding pretty good there now, so I think we will.
Yeah.
Now we're here not to talk NRL, but of course BBL. Only 2.5 weeks or so to go till we kick off. So if you're kicking back, watch us live. Put on the WBBL Eliminator on in the background. Have a bit of fun with that. And listen to us over the next 40 minutes and see what sort of rubbish we can come up with. Now, don't forget the BBL Unlimited group code is flashing across the bottom of the screen there. Jump in and join. There's already a stack of people in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we will have some prizes to be announced. 455 892 is the code. That's 455 892. Get in there, join in the fun. And don't forget, if you are watching live tonight, send us in a question or two. We've already got a few through, which we will cover a little bit later. So tonight...
sorry, Brad, just quickly, just on the prizes, there will be a BBL jersey to the winner of its choice club for whoever wins the overall league as well. So they get a choice of whatever team they support in the BBL, and they'll get a jersey out of that.
Excellent. I love that. So I can get a Nepalese one or something.
Oh, mate, you can get whatever you want. You can get the T10. You can get whatever the bloody hell you want. Get an IPL, get whatever.
The Nepalese donkeys?
I'll tell you what, cricket as well as NRL. Watch the European cricket if you want a bit of fun.
Oh, we need the Euro League. We need the Euro League one. Oh, my God. Boy.
It's great. It's just like watching great cricket on Saturday, man.
Mate.
It's so good.
I think it's worse. I think it's worse than the bloody local competition I used to play in.
I don't know. Me and the boys do some pretty weird stuff when we play. It's not pretty sometimes. So.
Did you see the one I posted up the other day of the celebration, the wicket celebration that the bloke did? That was absolute mint. Got to be the best one I've seen.
No, it is a crazy, crazy competition. Do go have a look at it because it is a lot of fun. All right, so the first team tonight we are going to discuss is the Perth Scorchers. Now, the Perth Scorchers are quite relevant as they do have a double in round 2, is it, Ross?
Round 2, yep.
Round 2, so they got a round 2 double. Now, up on the screen there, we have the expected possible team. Now, when we put these up, these are only suggested teams. Don't people take these as verbatim because things are going to change and they are changing pretty rapidly. But opening, we've got Finn Allen and Jennings. Jennings is a South African, for those people that don't know. 117,000 for Jennings and 152,000 for Finn Allen, but I'll explain why shortly. Aaron Hardy possibly at 3. 4 will be Inglis or Matt Hurst. and we'll discuss Hurst in a minute. Followed by Turner, Hobson, Spores, who's killing it in grade cricket at the moment, Richardson, Ty, Berendorf, and Morris. All right, Rossco, you want to...
Can I just say something quickly?
Yeah.
I mean, Jai Richardson, is he going to be he's the only bloke that I know that could go in and do a celebration for a high five and bust his shoulder.
Oh, absolutely. Mate, what's the go?
we should have kept that for what's the go, mate, for sure. But it's an interesting lineup. Finn Allen, he will talk about him, Brad. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he's about 150k, like you said, but he's got a phenomenal record. He's got about a high score of about 137 in T20. Great strike rate as well. Inglis, I think, is a lock. If he's picked and he's there, I think he'll be in most teams. I think he's about 28% owned already. And then you've got the bowlers. I think you could probably own any of those bowlers, to be honest with you. Ty's Ty, and Berendorf takes wickets too, and very, very economical too. Question is, how many do you start with? Do you start with a minimum of one? Do you start with a minimum of two? Given they've got the double round two, what do you reckon, Brad?
Oh, look, it all depends upon your team makeup. At the moment, personally, I'm going to get criticised for this, but he's just there at the moment as a placeholder. But I have Turner on my bench, but he won't be playing. But certainly, if he goes okay, he might well be playing round two when they do have a double at 60k. He's not a bad option for me. But Berendorf's about, I think, 170,000. Morris is around about 140 or 150. I think these are just off the top of my head in memory. So, Richardson, can you give us a bit of news, Rossco? What's the go with Richo? Is he injured or is he not injured? What's the go?
Oh no, he's fine. He's fine. He came back on and continued to bowl after it happened. And I think he got through over 10 overs, so he's okay. One thing I will say with these guys that are quite expensive, like your Berendorfs and your Richardsons and that, is if you're going to start with any of these guys, have a look at their break-evens first, because guys like Berendorf and Richo, they're really expensive. They could drop a bucket load of cash for that round one. Just for an example, Matt Short, obviously not playing for these guys, but he's got a break-even of over 100 and he's priced at 300k. So they're the sort of players that you could potentially look at waiting for. You probably want to look at guys who've got low break-evens and get them in to start with, rather than starting guys who could potentially lose a lot of cash. So I would suggest to look at break-evens as well.
Well, let me do that, because I've got those right in front of me. So going through, look, I'm the unofficial president of the AJ Ty fan club. He's dead set being the first bloke I've picked for about 3 seasons now. I love him. He's awesome. He comes from the clouds and just gets wickets. He's didn't have quite as good a year last year as he did the previous year, nor did Jai Richardson, but maybe the Scorchers as a whole were just a little bit underdone or a little bit overdone. But look, go through the list. AJ Ty at 140,800. Bowl only, obviously, BE of 47. Jai Richardson at 130k, which is an absolute steal, because I think he was about double that at the start of last season. With a 43 BE, Josh Inglis is 47. Lance Morris at 148k, he's a BE of 49. Aaron Hardy's the most expensive of the lot of them, which is 177,800. He's bat bowl dual, obviously. But he's a 59 BE, and then Dorf at 160,800, bowl only with a BE of 54. So, look, those are the ones that I'm probably keen on at this stage. I currently have AJ Ty and Jai Richardson in my squad. I think I've got some other Muppet in the wings on my bench, but yeah, that's just a placeholder at the moment. Cooper Connolly was the big one that I was really keen on in the off season, but he got injured about 2 weeks ago, and I don't think he'll be there for the start of the season.
No, he won't be. So it's safe to say that if you want to pick any of these bowlers, we can't steer anybody away from any of them. They're all friggin' quality. How's that for 4 quality bowlers? Jai Richardson, as you said, he was over 200,000 to start the year before. I think he's the most expensive actually last year, week 1. And I might have started with him. Berendorf is likely to bowl the death with Ty, with Richo and Morris. Morris is very enigmatic. 1 week he'll give you 5, the next week he'll give you 50. So he's your high ceiling, low floor sort of player that is probably the other 3.
He went on a massive run last year, and if you got on him at the right time, you came out trumps. Lance Morris, he's just to go through some numbers really quick, boys. So they've got the Stars in round 1, and then the Canes and the Gades in round 2 as the double. So AJ Ty, so his highest score against the Stars is 139 with an average of 58.2. With against the Canes, an average of 99 high with a 47 average, and the Gades 93 high with a 36 average. Considering he's got those guys up front, I'm pretty keen. And he's priced at, like I said, only 140K. Jai Richardson's very similar. The big standout one there is against the Canes, 177 high score with an average of 89.6. I know that he didn't have as good a year last year, but if he can get back to his BBL 12 form, he is going to be sensational.
Yeah. The one before I throw to Rossco and we'll go over the batting lineup, we'll just have a look at the all-rounders. As we said, Turner, captaining, coming back after a horror injury run there late last year. At 60-odd thousand, I don't mind him. The big one, of course, is Spores. I think he'll be one of if selected round 1, and that's a big if selected round 1, he should be in everyone's team. Been killing it in grade at the moment over in the West. He's a bat bowl, which is fantastic. What do you think there, Rossco? Spores, if selected round 1 at bottom dollar, should he be into everyone?
My question is how many overs does he bowl with that side? I mean, you're going to probably expect Richardson, Ty, Berendorf and Morris will all bowl 4 overs. And then where does the other 4 overs go? You've got Hardy, who's going to bowl as well. Spores, like you said, will bowl as well. But the question is how many does he bowl? Because for me, I can't pick a bloke who's batting at 7 unless I know he's going to bowl at least 3 overs minimum.
Yeah, really? I reckon if he bowls 2 overs, he'll still get a price rise. You'll get something.
Yeah. But then you got to remember Ashton Agar and Conley's got to come back into that team. So, and they're due back, round 3, round 4. So the question is, how much money does he make? That's the problem.
Yeah. No, look, they're valid points, but as I said, he'll, it's certainly one that most people, particularly as we're scratching for money, it's going to be very tight trying to fit all the players in this year that we want. He'd certainly be one to look. Roscoe, what do you think about this batting order? Can you run me through any? I'll just tell you one thing. Finn Allen, he's a New Zealander. He averages very, very high in the Vitality Blast last year and has been certainly, he's only a young fellow, 24, 25. 152,000. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on him. I do want to see how he goes first game as well. We have seen in the past that some players who have come over from overseas takes them a couple of games to change with the changing the conditions and the pitches and that over here. Yeah. So I am interested to see how he goes the first round. Question is, do you want to fork out 150K for just a bat only? When you could I don't have an example, but if you can get a bloke for 150, 160 who's going to bat and bowl, I think you'd probably go that over him. The fact that, when you batter and you fail, you're done. That's it. Your game's over, So it's a hard one. I wish they didn't have the double so early because I would have liked to have seen a couple more games out of him first before I could actually have a proper look at him. So for me, it is a bit of a risk bringing him in for the double. But you know, there's risk with reward. He could be an Uber pod come round 2.
Absolutely. Now the other one there, the newbie. So they've really changed up their opening batters, which have been a problem in the last few years for the Scorchers. We've got Jennings coming in at number 2, opening the batting. Don't know a lot really about him. South African. That's about all I know.
Yeah, I don't know much about him either.
117k,
yeah,
so
no.
pretty cheap.
Definitely one to keep an eye on. I mean, again, another one to watch. I mean, you know, maybe you go him instead of Allen at 35k cheap or whatever he is. It's just hard when you don't know much about these guys. You know, they can have all the form in the Vitality Blast and all these other T10s and everything else, but again, different conditions over here. So, yeah, it's a hard one.
I think if they're cheap enough, you can sort of warrant taking a risk on one or the other. But it's going to be a little bit of Russian roulette to see which one you actually go with and which one comes out. I'd much rather prefer to leave both of them for round 1 and then just pick whichever one seems to look the better after round 1 for the round 2 double.
Now, a very interesting one. The last one we'll discuss in this team. And again, I'll lean on Rossco a little bit. I think Timmy's also got a bit of research in this one. But Josh Inglis, of course, has been named in the Australian Test squad or as standby. If not released, we're expecting his position to be taken by Matt Hurst, who more than likely will come in into that about number 4 position, can bat adequately, but certainly no Josh Inglis, but he's fairly cheap. So what are your thoughts here, Rossco?
Yeah, he's England. He's a Pommy too, isn't he? I'm pretty sure, right? I
think he's more.
I don't know much about him. My instinct, my gut feeling is that they'll probably release Josh Inglis from the Test squad. I would say most likely they'll probably keep Boland in there as just an extra player, but yeah, another one to keep an eye on, Brad. I just don't know much about. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's an English fella. Basically, he's only played 18 T20s, no international there. So in this year's Vitality Blast, he played 12 games. He's played 6 games in the 100. So very limited. But he's got a strike rate of 140, averaging 25. So no slouch. So that puts him at least on equal with a lot of the other wicket keepers or some of the wicket keepers that are out there. For instance, Joe Clark has an average of around about 28 or something like that. So that, yeah, we don't know much about him. So,
yeah, I'd probably have Inglis in my team if he's definitely in. I mean, I think at 140k or whatever it is, he's been in some super form lately in that one-day series and that they've recently played against Pakistan. So, yeah, I think he should be in most teams come round 2 if he's picked.
He should be in most teams round 1 if picked. So that'll be my recommendation, but that's okay there. Timmy, what are your thoughts on that wicket-keeping position there? You got anything to add?
I think, are we going to have a bit more of a chat about the wicket-keeping position as a whole later on?
Yeah, we'll have a little bit of a chat later on about that.
I think, like you guys have already said, I've got nothing else to add to it. That obviously there's not a lot of information out about Matt Hurst at the moment, but I mean, if Josh Inglis is available, he'll absolutely be taking the gloves for the Scorchers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our next one, we are going to just. Was there
any questions so far on anything to do with the Scorchers? Anything come through live?
There was actually. There was one of our friends who often watches the show and gives us really good feedback. Teddy Woods. G'day, Ted, over there in the long white cloud over
across the beach.
In New Zealand, in the fish and chips.
He says he's going to stop a few Scorchers like a lot of people. But can us blokes give a breakdown on the high five that went wrong? Well, we sort of have given a high five, the wrong high five that went down for Jai Richardson. He continued bowling later on in the day and looks to be okay, Ted. But thanks for that question there, Ted. And as I said, really appreciate all the input and feedback you always give.
It is funny because I give my kids a hard time about exactly the same thing to my lovely father-in-law. The kids jump up and give him a high five and they try and knock his arm off. Mind you, my father-in-law is the plus side of 60, not Jai Richardson, the plus side of, 25 to 30 or whatever. So, it's just the guy must be stuck together with sticky tape if his shoulder's going to blow out from a high five.
Oh, it's just, yeah. What does one say? All right, the Sydney Sixers are the next thing we're going to look at. They got a double in round 3, and also probably not quite as relevant as the Scorchers, but there's a few players here that people will have a keen eye on. A couple of them are a little bit cheap and could be worth a stab. So, who wants to read through the team? Which one of you? Give my voice a break.
Yeah, look, absolutely. This is, again, like Brad said earlier, this is just the predicted starting lineup, I guess, 1 to 11, care of Honeyball. So at the top of the order, we got James Vince and Josh Philippe. We've got Patterson coming in at number 3. Moses Enriquez at 4. Jordan Silk at 5. Jake Edwards at 6. Ben Menenti, 7. What did I say?
Jake.
Sorry, Jack Edwards. My apologies. Sorry, Jack. It's been a long day. Look, Menenti at 7, Sean Abbott at 8, Big Ben Dwarshus at 9, Jay Chahan at 10, and the old man Jackson Bird at number 11.
Yeah, quite interesting there. First of all, that bowling lineup. One thing I can see, and somebody else has just commented on this, which I'll throw up on the screen. Greg Anderson, g'day, Greg. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for all the feedback on the BBL Central site. He says surely Kerr, if he's fit, gets a run. We're looking at that.
I think so too. Yeah, I've got him ahead of Jackson Bird if he's fit.
Yeah, what is Jackson Bird's about 198 years old now? No,
but he's nearly the leading wicket taker in Shield at the moment, so he's still doing a job.
Yeah, wow.
But I don't know about for the BBL though. I think Kerr's fit. He definitely comes into that team and it strengthens up the batting lineup a bit more. I mean, it's not bad already now, but they're going to be batting to basically number 9 if he comes into the team because Abbott can bat. Menenti, mate, I've seen him make runs this year in the One Day Cup and Shield as well. He can hold the bat too. Silk, Edwards. It's a decent batting lineup. Curtis Patterson, one I'm very interested in. Brad, we had a bit of a chat about him in our chat a couple of days ago. 62K. He's only currently 2% owned, just quietly. He's making some serious runs at the moment, and I'm very interested in him. I think he's one of those players that you could probably stash on your bench round 1, providing he's obviously picked, and use him as a bench loop.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. He's certainly getting the runs at the moment, and like you said, at 60K, it's I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer, but he's certainly one of the more positive, cheaper options that are out there at the moment. Who well, assuming he's going to play, he looks like he'll bat at 3 or 4, and look at 60K. I don't think you can go real wrong.
Now, one I've got my eye on is, of course, Jack Edwards. A very keen eye on him. There's been a bit of rumours around, which we have heard circulate, that he might be opening the batting. I just can't see it, given the talent and the lineup that they've got available. But that's one to keep your eye on, keep your ear to the ground. certainly the Sixers aren't adverse if things are going bad or if things are going real good to throwing Edwards up the order, which they can do at times when they need a bit of a pinch hitter. But yeah, I can't see it starting. But that's not to say that, what are your thoughts there, Rossco, on that one?
I mean, my concern is they're stacked with bowlers to the brim in that team, Brad. There is a lot of bowlers in that team. I mean, even Moses can roll his arm over. Edwards, Menenti, Abbott, Dwarshuis, Chauhan, Bird, or Kerr, or whoever comes in. I mean, it's another one of those things where you're not guaranteed that Edwards is going to bowl 4 overs. I mean, again, like the other bloke we spoke about earlier, I think it was Spores. Can you pick a bloke who's batting 6 and may not bowl 4 overs?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point there, but
just so stacked with bowlers, it really is.
Travis Senior, g'day, Travis. Thank you very much for all your questions. Thank you very much for tuning in as usual. Really appreciate the feedback. Travis has said he thought that Jack Edwards was due to open. As we said there, Travis, it's really only just it's a wild scuttlebutt rumor at the moment. I'm not sure that you could relegate either. Vince might go to 3, but man, I just can't see it at the moment, but it could happen. So everyone's just got to be careful. What are your thoughts there, Timmy?
Yeah, just looking price-wise, Jack Edwards at 136,500. So his BE is going to be mid to late 40s. Yeah, 46 BE. Bat bowl dual, so obviously he's handy. You can flick him back and forwards. I know the guys on listening to Supercoach Experience a couple of weeks ago, they were really keen on him. Look, I think for his dual flexibility, he's pretty handy to have. When you're looking at him, if he's going to get the overs, I think it's worth it. If he's basically batting only with maybe 1 or 2 overs in there, I'm not 100% convinced. But I think the dual flexibility does certainly make it a little bit more positive for the start of the season. Look, I'll be honest with viewers, I'm currently not starting any Sixers, either in my lineup or on the bench. But, yeah, I think probably Edwards is one of the main ones that I might look at. Philippe is a possibility for keeping spot, but I've got to come up with a better plan for that at this stage.
All right, Dale Nowland, he's also chimed in, says he might get Paddo and Abbott. And when do the Sixers have double round games? We said that just before, Dale. They've got the double round game in round 3. So do keep a watch out for that. But it's interesting that another person has their eye on Paddo there, Rossco. So you got a bit of a fan going on. Bit of a fan work.
The other one I'm really keen on that he mentioned too is Sean Abbott. Now, he probably hasn't had the best season this year, or especially bowling for Australia. But I just saw how cheap he is. He's 130k. He's an absolute steal as well. Like, the bloke's going to bowl 4 overs every week. There's no doubt about that. So he's a player at 130k that I think you could probably lock in. I feel probably more comfortable going him over going Jack Edwards at the same price.
I like it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Abbott's more of a chance. Sorry, Brad. I think Abbott's more of a chance to pick up those wickets in the key overs. I just think that if they're not quite sure whether the game's in hand or not, I think Abbott's the bloke that they're always going to throw the ball to as a if in doubt, give him an over.
He's one of those guys who bowls a lot of death bowling, so does pick up a lot of junk wickets, as we like to call them. So he does have a tendency to do that. But yeah, massive. He started last season at 200k, and he's now dropped to 130k to start the season. So another one I'm definitely keen on. I don't know if I'll start him, but I'm pretty sure he'll be in my team for the double, just at that price. It's really cheap, really is.
Isn't it interesting just on that, like the amount of guns that are available this year for sort of 130 odd K and in there and abouts or even less? Is this going to be the year of the fallen gun and then trying to pick which one's going to be the one that goes back up to that top tier status. It's an interesting one because it's not just bowlers. There's a few batters out there as well that have certainly a lot cheaper in price than what they have been in previous seasons.
Mm.
Well, we're going to do this in a couple of podcasts time, but of course this year we're blessed with a flex position in Supercoach, and this is what's really going to come to the fore of these sort of players. I think personally, with the flex position, that it's really going to be, it's going to be quite interesting there. All right, before we get on to our next segment, we've got another question that's just shot in. We better have a look at this one. I don't know who's going to answer this one.
My mate Joey. I knew he wouldn't be far off. It is Wednesday night. Joey will be sitting right next to his laptop, just waiting for us to come on. Evening, Joey. Good to see you tuned in. Righto. So, Timmy, with Ben Hunt returning to the Broncos, are there any has-beens heading to the Heat? That's just nasty.
I heard that. Hey, listen, I heard that they've signed Andrew Flintoff to come back again. He's going to stand out the boundary and sing a bit of Elvis again like last time.
It might get the crowds in. Look, let's be honest. The Heat don't need it. We fill the Gabba as it is. Look, thanks, Joey, for the question. Yeah, look, mate, it's I don't think the Heat's lineup's going to change too much from here on out.
So they come last again.
We'll win it. We'll give you all a head start, and we'll still win it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You might win the WBBL. That's probably the only thing you're gonna win. But no one cares about that.
All in jest. No, it's no. I think the Heat's lineup looks all right. I'm not convinced we're going to go back to that just yet, but let's try and see how we get off to a start.
Yeah, Josiah's just returned serve with Timmy coming out of retirement. And I guess there's a question mark there.
After missing last football season with a broken leg, I went to training last night, and anytime anyone comes anywhere near me, the main guys that run the team just yell and scream the tits off at them. So no one's allowed to tackle me. It's almost like the rehab orange or pink bloody fluoro shirt, the flashing neon sign that says "Don't tackle me if I come anywhere near you." So look, Joey, the chances of me coming out of a cricket retirement from about under 11s is highly unlikely.
Oh, dear. All right. So that brings us now to our next segment. It's What's the Go?
Oh, I got you. You thought I didn't see you now, didn't you?
What's the go with Timmy O, mate? I got you.
What's not the go? I've got 2 days of teaching left, and then I'm going into early retirement. So, bring it on.
All right. The real What's the Go this week is Andrew Langley, who won a BBL Supercoach twice. Remarkable. Andrew, hats off to you. We hope to have him on again this year at some time. I think Rossco's teeing up a time with him. But Andrew released his team during the week to keen watchers of a BBL Supercoach. And he basically was advocating for, in a sense, what he is doing. He's advocating for a nuppy and virtually no one in the wicketkeeper position. So basically just writing off the wicketkeeper position and putting all his funds into the batters, bowlers and flex position. What's the go, Timmy O?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. I listened to the podcast and actually rewound and listened 2 or 3 times. It's was an interesting take on it. And obviously the bloke has got the runs on the board. So anytime a dual champion says a particular strategy that he's looking at, I think anyone's got to stand up and take notice. Look, his general logic was the average score for wicket keepers in the past has been the lowest scoring position out of obviously batting, bowling, wicket keeping. So look, his general logic was why spend the money there on 150K players when you can fill the spot with 260K guys and then use that extra 150K somewhere else instead of shielding a 60K player in the batting or bowling position. That was his general logic to it. So look, I think from memory he was looking at starting. I think it may have been Jilks from the Thunder at 58,500, and Doran from the Hobart Hurricanes. I think it was Jake Doran from the Hobart Hurricanes at 39,500. So essentially having enough for 40K enough as your stand in, pretend on the sly wicket keeper and just running it like that. Look, his logic is now that we've got the flex position, so you're taking the best 11 out of 12 scores. So if on average over every season that Supercoach BBL's been kicking on, the likelihood of one of your best scorers being your wicket keeper is unlikely. So his logic was, let's use the cheapest players up there and then have an extra quality player in your flex position. You're going to get your best 11 out of 12 scores anyway.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I like it. I do have another point to this, which I'll raise in a minute. What are your thoughts there, Rossco?
I can't really comment too much. I mean, the bloke's back-to-back champion. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I mean, like Tim said, that flexi position kind of changes the whole ball game. I don't think without the flexi position you could do something like that. It's a tough one because, you know, I don't mind having enough up there in the keeper position. Maybe looking at the draw to see someone who's going to be playing a lot of late games in the round and stashing them up there as your wicket keeper, and then basically having them. So they might not even be someone who's going to be starting, having them as your starting keeper and having someone like an Inglis or someone like that on your bench. And basically, you know, if Philippi plays first and goes shit, then you can trade that bloke out. But I don't know. It's a hard one. I mean, the flex just sort of throws everything out of whack, which to me makes sense as to why he's doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still getting my head around this whole flex thing and how it all works. So, yeah.
I guess to put things in perspective, just looking at my own team at the moment, look, I'm running with Team Safeheart from the Renegades as they've got the early double, obviously. He's priced at 152K. My bench keeper at the moment is Harry Nielsen, as it's looking like he'll play with the Strikers for that opening round at least. And then the possibility of the double as well in round 2. Look, he's priced at 58, so basically 60K. So between the two of them, I'm currently spending, 210,000 in my wicket-keeping spot. So he's basically suggesting he's looking at Doran and I think it was Matt Jilks. So there's 100K there. So he's put two blokes in at 100K, and I've got two blokes in it that are costing 100K extra. So for moving the 100K and putting it elsewhere, one of them's going to play, and then you've got the extra cash to go to do your upgrades in other positions. So look, I understand. It's really going to come down to be honest, I think which of the cheaper guys are going to play. I'd spend the extra 20K if that's the plan. I'd spend the extra 20K and put two 60K guys in if two keepers at 60K are going to get named. I dare say Harry Nielsen will, and surely either of Sam Harper or Jilks should be in there as well. So, yeah, look, I don't know.
I personally wouldn't be starting Nelson. I wouldn't be going anywhere near Nelson. The bloke's going to bat 7 or 8. You're better off just having enough or stashing Sam Harper there for their second double, because obviously Joe Clark's only here for the first double, which means Harper will go back to keeping come their second double. But Harry Nelson should not be in anyone's team. It's either enough or someone like Sam Harper who potentially could bat top 4.
Yeah, I personally, this is. During the week, there's an article up on BBL Central where we ranked the possible selections that you should be considering for wicketkeeper round 1. These did not include the nuffs or the absolute cheap of the cheap. That was done quite on purpose, but there's not a lot of attraction in any of them, to tell you the truth. Tim Seaford, there's not a lot of attraction. Joe Clark, only here for the first round double. There's negatives against a lot of those top keepers. myself, I'm going with, and this is where my point's going to be, I'm going to go with Josh Inglis because there is a double round 3. It just saves me having to get him. And I think he's rather cheap at the moment for what he's going to offer you. And I'm going to go an absolute enough for my second keeper. So somebody who is not going to be playing. The reason for this is we've only got 8 rounds. A loop is very, very important. You need a looping option in your team. If you don't have a looping option at your team, you're going to get smashed by someone who does. What do you think, boys? Spot for your looping option?
That's exactly what I just said. Yeah.
Sorry, Brad. I agree with what you're saying. But then if you're running enough in your keeper, does that eliminate the chance of a loop then just in that particular spot? And I think then Andrew's argument is if you don't have a second player in there that's worth looping, then don't have him there to begin with, and just go put your money in your flex position and just basically miss your keeper spot altogether. Because you obviously don't have a loop for your flex position either, so it's kind of 1v1.
Yeah, I don't mind having a keeper as your looping option. I mean, if you have a Jai Richardson, say, or let's say round 1, if you've got Tom Curran, right, and Curran comes out, bags 4 wickets, also hits 40 odd runs, gets 150. He's got another game to come. You're looping, right? You've got the VC on him. You loop straight away. Swap Philippe for your nuff that's on your bench. Yeah, Philippe might come out and hit 40 runs. I'm taking 150 as a looping option. Thank you very much. Yeah. But the other thing is that Philippe's score will come in anyway for the non-playing wicketkeeper. So you're not missing out on anything. It's a perfect loop when you think about it, actually. The wicketkeeper loop is a good option.
And I guess the fact that your flex position can come from any position. So you can move anyone off your bench into your flex as long as you've got the duels there to slot back into wherever the hell they're going to slot into. So, yeah, in some ways your flex can cover all 3 positions.
Like I said, we're going to go over that flex position as in a few weeks, or in a few episodes.
Probably next week.
we don't have a time to go. Now, one segment we haven't done, I don't know if there's how much news you got there, Rossco? You got any news for us this week?
Oh, we can go through a little bit, yeah.
Any signing?
There's not a hell of a lot, but yeah, we've got some stuff we can go through.
Yep.
Roll the intro.
Let's go.
All right. We will have to do that.
It's Good News Week.
It's Good News Week. Give us the good news.
You know what? It is good news this week. You know why it's good news this week? Because there ain't much happening in regards to players pulling out. Just a couple updates. Mir looks like he's going to be unavailable for the Stars double due to Pakistan selection. Obviously, as we discussed earlier, Inglis and Boland are ones to keep an eye on. And Fabian Allen is also a chance of missing round 1 and possibly round 2, which is very relevant because he's a strikers player who does have the double early. So, and the other one I wanted to mention too is Will Sutherland did make a comeback playing for Victoria's second 11 this week. However, he did not bowl. So I think
2.5 weeks away.
Yeah. Well, there's a Shield game to be played before BBL starts. If he's selected and he doesn't bowl, cannot pick him in my team. But other than that, that's pretty much it. In regards to any news, it's pretty quiet week on the front.
All right. Well, that is about it tonight. We don't have too much more. We thank everybody for tuning in as always. We thank Honeyball for some of their help and assistance with those predicted or possible predicted teams. And do remember, people, they are just possible predicted teams. Have you got anything else there to add, Rossco?
No, just again, thanks to Honeyball for all these articles and information he does And as I said, subscribe, get in and subscribe, $30. There's some fantastic articles in there. You've got access to a WhatsApp group as well, which is only available if you are a member, and also into one of their leagues as well, which has also got cash prizes as well. So it's definitely worth joining for $30 for the season. If you're dead set mad like we are, we've got a subscription, and there's some really good stuff in there that you can't get without having the subscription. So well worth it for the serious players.
Don't forget, folks, our group code 455892, as announced tonight. There will be a jersey on offer to the winner at the end of the season. Fantastic news that. We do all this out of our goodwill of our own heart, and no sponsor at the moment for the BBL. Timmy,
We'd love one though. So if any listeners reckon they can help us out in any particular way, absolutely flick us a message. We'd love to get some sponsorship on board.
Yeah, it's a multinational sports drink company. How about you come on board? I mean, we're fit-looking people.
I'll drink anything. So yeah, look, just bring it on.
As long as it's not Forex or Great Northern.
No. I'm quite happy to just drink Forex. It's yeah. The big girl that I am, I've now got the doctor's orders. I've got to drink low carb or no carb. So yeah, cheers. Bottoms up.
No, just no. Just no. There's no to Forex.
I'd just rather not drink.
Stop it.
Sorry.
All right, jump in. Yep. On anything else there, Tim? We'll sign up and say good night to everybody. Thank you very much again, everyone, and keep an eye out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. There's more articles and heaps more content coming up there all the time. So till early next week.
Hang on, next week we'll be going over Thunder because they're probably the only other team that's really, they don't have a double till round 5 or round 6, but they're the next relevant team, and we're going to have a bit of a chat around some strategies and also the flex position as well. So stay tuned for next week because there'll be some interesting stuff there. So if you've got any questions, as I said, we'll put up a post and you can send them through, and we're happy to answer any questions you guys can throw our way.
Or tune in the live ones and we throw them up anyway. So as we always do. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And until next time, early next week, we'll see you then.
Stay safe. Be good.